All right, so there I was, just chilling at the local park, minding my own business. It's a sunny day. Kids playing, dogs barking, the whole shebang. Now, I'm not one to toot my own horn, but I'm the kind of guy who likes to help out when I can. Hold the door open for someone, return a lost wallet, the usual good Samaritan stuff. So, this one day, I'm sitting on a bench, scrolling through my phone, probably looking at cute animal videos or something. Out of the blue, this lady storms up to me, like a hurricane on a mission. She's got the classic Karen haircut, the one, and a vibe that screams trouble. This Karen starts laying down this wild story about how she's got an emergency and needs me to watch her baby for a hot minute. Now, I'm thinking, lady, do I look like a daycare center? But, I'm trying to be polite. So I ask her what's going on. She starts rambling about how she needs to run and deal with something urgent, and her precious little bundle of joy can't be left alone. I'm not exactly the babysitting type, but hey, I figure it's just a few minutes. What's the worst that could happen, right? Famous last words. So Karen hands me this squirming, gurgling baby like it's a live grenade, and off she goes, disappearing into the horizon faster than you can say unbelievable. Now, I'm sitting there awkwardly on this park bench trying to make small talk with a baby who clearly doesn't understand my profound insights into the meaning of life. Fast forward maybe 10 minutes, and here comes Karen huffing and puffing like she just ran a marathon. She snatches her baby from my hands without even a thanks and starts laying into me about how long she had to wait and how I should be grateful for the honor of babysitting her precious angel. I'm just about to give her a piece of my mind when, lo and behold, a cop strolls up. Now, at this point, I'm thinking, great, what did I do now? But no, Karen points at me and starts this whole dramatic scene about how I neglected her child and how she wants me arrested. The cop looks at her, looks at me, and I can see in his eyes he's not buying into her circus act. He asks what happened, and Karen launches into this whole saga, painting me as the villain of the century. I'm just standing there trying to wrap my head around how babysitting turned into a crime. The cop turns to me, and I explain the whole situation. I tell him how Karen dumped her kid on me, ran off, and now she's back playing the victim card. The cop, bless his soul, sees through the nonsense. He warns Karen about wasting police time and tells her to cool it. Now, most people would take the hint and skedaddle, but not Karen. Oh no, she goes full drama queen. She starts jabbing her fingers into the cop's chest, all up in his personal space, like she's auditioning for a role in a soap opera. The cop, surprisingly patient, tells her to back off. But Karen is having none of it. She keeps poking and prodding, like she's trying to find the arrest button on the cop's chest. At this point, a little crowd is gathered, probably drawn in by the spectacle. I'm just standing there trying not to burst out laughing at the absurdity of the situation. Finally, the cop has had enough. He calmly tells Karen that if she doesn't step back, he's going to have to arrest her for assaulting an officer. You'd think that would be the end of it, right? Nope. Karen doubles down, convinced she's above the law. So, what does our hero cop do? He pulls out the handcuffs and, with the grace of a ballet dancer, calmly cuffs Karen's hands behind her back. The look on her face was priceless, a mix of shock, disbelief, and a dash of pure, unadulterated entitlement. By this time, the crowd is eating it up. People are filming. There's a guy selling popcorn. Okay, maybe not, but it would have been the perfect touch. The cop, still as cool as a cucumber, informs Karen of her rights while she's sputtering like a malfunctioning engine. As they cart Karen off, she's still trying to argue her case, like the entire universe is conspiring against her. The cop gives me a nod, a silent acknowledgement that I just witnessed a wild episode of the Karen Chronicles. And that, my friends, is the day I became an unwitting babysitter, got accused of crimes against childcare, and witnessed the epic takedown of the one and only entitled Corinne. Life's weird, ain't it? This was many years ago when I was trying to break into the jazz scene as a singer in a new city I'd moved to. I had shared some recordings of mine with a super talented musician and band leader who lived there, and based on that, he invited me to come out to one of their shows and sit in on a few songs. It was a great opportunity for me to perform in front of an audience of jazz lovers, and also to make music and connect with several really wonderful players. His guidelines were simple. Just pick 3 jazz standards that I thought I would shine on, and he and his band would back me on whatever I chose. I spent the week considering which songs would demonstrate my skill and also carry the most emotional impact, and I practiced them every day. That Friday night, I took extra time to try to look good, but I was still pretty nervous and self-conscious when I got to the crowded club. I literally knew nobody in this town. In a stroke of luck, someone left a little two-seat table just as the band began, and I snagged it. During the break after the first set, the band leader came over to chat with me. He was a really nice guy and generous with his talents. He didn't need to let me sit in with his band. As a matter of fact, many people wouldn't have done it. I was really grateful to have met him and felt hopeful about the contacts I would make through him, but more importantly, I thought we might end up being friends. He told me that after the break, they would play a few songs and then he would invite me up. He then went off to mingle with all the other people who wanted to talk to him. As soon as he got up, a woman slid into the seat that he had just vacated. She was tall and pretty, and she said that she heard that the band leader had invited me to sit in, that she was also a singer and she wanted to welcome me to town. We chick singers have to stick together, she said with a beautiful smile. Could this night get any better? Here I was making another friend already. What songs are you going to sing? We chatted a bit and I told her what I had chosen and why. She was really charming. As the band took the stage, she excused herself to go back to the group of friends she was there with. She flashed that beautiful smile and told me with a wink that she was sure we'd see each other again real soon. The band finished the first song of the second set, and then the band leader called up the other woman that I had just met. It was odd that she hadn't mentioned she was going to sing too, but I was glad I'd get a chance to hear her. I then sat there utterly shocked and dumbfounded as she proceeded to sing all three of the songs that I had prepared. I looked over and saw her friends looking back and forth between her and me, laughing. I was so stunned, mainly because never in 1,000 years would it occur to me to do something so crappy to another person, let alone a fellow musician. She literally came over to me and acted friendly to find out what songs I was singing so she could pull that stunt. Welcome to your new town. I was so hurt and humiliated. She was, at this point, singing the third song directly to me to the great amusement of her friends. The band leader knew that something was up, but he had no idea what, as I hadn't told him what songs I would do. My brain was racing, trying to come up with a way to deal with the situation, and then it hit me. She was pretty good, but she wasn't that good. She was a little formulaic, a bit unoriginal. She was dependent on her looks and presence, her tricks she had learned in her voice lessons. She was technique heavy and soul lacking. In other words, she was baffling them with nonsense, and I knew what I had to do. Her last song ended, and she left the stage to generous applause from the audience and cheers from her table of friends. The band leader called me up. I handed him my lead sheets and whispered to him, "She stole my songs. Please trust me on this. Let me do the same songs." Fortunately, he got it instantly and nodded with a little smile. And I sang the living hell out of those songs. I put every ounce of my training, but also my emotions, my angst, my fears, my longing, my loneliness, my joy. I wasn't even aware of the room, but for a moment between songs, I glanced out to see her sitting there with her mouth hanging open and her friends now sitting still and silent. The room exploded when I finished, and I got a standing ovation. Someone actually shouted out, "That's how you do it." I honestly felt kind of bad for her, but I think she learned something that night. The band leader came up to me later and told me that he had wanted to teach her a lesson in humility for a long time and thanked me for letting him be a part of it. I ended up living in that town for 5 years and became good friends with the band leader and many other musicians in town. I never got close with that other singer, but she never tried to pull something like that with me again, and I think she never tried it with anyone else either. I still think it was one of my best performances ever. 15 years ago, I was living in a very large and expensive city, in what had once been the servants' quarters of an extremely large Victorian house. The whole house was broken up into apartments that progressively grew larger and nicer as you went up. I lived on the bottom floor with my then-so. After being there for about a year, we got a new upstairs neighbor, which ended up being not so great. Both So and I worked in the hospitality industry, and as a result kept late hours, but tried to keep it respectful with the coming and going in the wee hours. Upstairs, neighbor worked normal human hours, and when she wasn't working, she seemed to always be talking on speakerphone and pacing around in heels on the hardwood floors. I've had neighbors with much worse habits, so I basically tuned it out, but apparently our schedule was very inconvenient for her. Lots of complaints about the noise we made, hours we kept, about my dog, and kind of anything else you could imagine. The landlord mostly liked us, so it never went too far, but still annoying. We probably could have coexisted like that for years. But one night, I got back from work and there was a strange station wagon parked diagonally across both of our alley parking spaces, making it impossible to park even one other car there. One of the perks of having the least impressive of all the building's apartments was 2 parking spaces that the landlord included with our lease. He was really good about keeping other tenants from parking there, and we really appreciated it since parking in the neighborhood was expensive and not easy to find around the building. Everyone in the building was very well aware those spots belonged to us. We had occasionally let other people in the building park there if we were going out of town, or if they didn't mind being blocked in, like if they were out of town but leaving their car. We mostly bike commented, so usually both of our cars were there, but on this particular evening we had both been using our vehicles. We figured someone had parked there on accident and would be back soon, but 2 hours later the car was still there, so I called the landlord to see about getting it towed. The landlord showed up and told us it was our upstairs neighbor's car and that she had left the country for the next 4 months. He also refused to tow the car because she was a tenant and he had no actual spine. So for 4 effing months, we were going to have to pay to park 2 cars. And every single time I took my dog out for a walk or a poop, I had to walk right past her car. I was tempted to slash tires, break the windshield, key the crap out of it, sugar in the gas tank. You name it, I thought about it. But I also don't want you to get in any legal trouble and stack up even more bills on top of what was already going to be an expensive situation. So, what to do? How to express my boundless rage without committing any actual crime? About 3 weeks in, I was out with my dog, and while I was passing her damn car, I basically saw red. Before I even realized what I was doing, I was smearing the dog crap I had just picked up all over her door handles, laughing like a lunatic. And I kind of felt better, so I just kept doing it. For almost 3 months, every single time I took my fairly large dog out to drop a deuce in the neighborhood, I rubbed all of it on that effing station wagon. And I got pretty creative. Dr. Handles the grill, the windshield wipers, crevices around the windows and sunroof, all up in the side mirrors, cracks in the doors, the little gutters on the roof, the locks, into the gap around the hood. If you can get to it without breaking in, I got to it and it was chock full of dog poop. And since my city was pretty famous for its precipitation, the excess was regularly stuff which hid the absolutely incredible amount of poop that was all up in that car, while also helping a dog poop slurry get deep in those cracks and crevices. It was absolutely disgusting, and honestly, I felt pretty proud of myself. I wasn't there to see her get into the car for the first time. Neither of us were, but I do know that I got home one night and the car was moved. She never spoke to or even made eye contact with either of us ever again, but I did see the car with a for sale sign around the neighborhood for several months before she moved out. This happened a few years ago when I was serving overseas with the U.S. military. The location I was at was in a poorer area. There's a fair number of panhandlers, a lot of petty crime, and just people doing stupid crap. Well, one racket that goes on in this area, and apparently in other areas of the country too, is the local cops incentivize reporting vehicles with out-of-date inspection stickers. Apparently, they give these people access to the inspection database if they think the sticker is fake or stolen, which actually does happen. If you drive a motorcycle, one of the things they tell you when you process is to keep the sticker in your wallet and not on the vehicle, or else it'll just get peeled off. Anyway, what these people will do if they find a car with an out-of-date sticker, or if they run the plates and find it's out of date, they will jimmy the door open, steal every single thing out of the car, and leave a note that they've taken it to the police station. The idea is that you show up at the police station to get your stuff, and they force you to pay the fine for an overdue sticker and then give you a deadline for an inspection, or else you'll get another fine. Well, I came out to my car one morning, and lo and behold, there was a note on my seat saying that all my stuff was at the local police station because my inspection sticker was fake, and I had to go get it. No, not only am I late for work, my kid is also going to be late for school because there's no bus and I have to drive her every morning on my way. Also, my inspection sticker is not out of date, so I have no idea what's going on. Now here's the thing that was extremely problematic was I had put my passport and my wife kids in the glove box because I was taking them to the base to get some paperwork done. as well as grab some paperwork from my wife to apply for a new passport because hers was expired. I'm very forgetful, so I put them in the night before and made sure the car was locked. Yeah, dumb mistake. Anyway, I get to the station, ask them what the heck was going on. And then when I have them look at the inspection documents that the guy had taken, which clearly stated the car had been inspected and was current, they apologized and told me that they would give my things back, and I had to wait there for a second. I asked to file a police report for theft, but they looked at me like I had 3 heads and told me nothing was stolen even though somebody broke into my car and took my things. This is when a light bulb went off in my head, and this might fall into the unethical category. The guy had taken official U.S. passports, which might be a problem, but probably nothing would come of it since they were turned right into the police. However, I asked him where my wife's passport was. They told me that whatever is there is there. I said I needed a police report because I needed to contact the U.S. Embassy about a stolen passport and the fact that this police station would know exactly who the person was that stole it because they had dropped off my things that morning. I've never seen someone's attitude change as quickly as that cop's attitude changed. He tried to talk me out of filing a police report, but I was pretty insistent, so I went ahead with the police report, and then I did contact the embassy and reported the passport stolen and gave them all the information of the police station, and when I got the police report, I emailed it to them as well. Wound up getting a free passport out of it for my trouble. The embassy told me they were going to handle it, and from what I heard, the person who broke into my car actually got arrested and fined and was looking at additional charges because he stole foreign documents. Really would have liked to have been a fly on the wall when one of the local cops rolled into wherever he was at and told him to come with them. I don't feel bad at all. Hopefully dude learned his lesson, and I did not have any further issues until I PCSD home. Edited for grammar and mobile formatting errors, and because I'm getting screeched at about going out of my way to get someone in huge trouble for a minor offense.